Today's topic is going to be about dependency and codependency and describing the relationship between the two and how they interact. In the last video, we talked about caring, and we spoke of caring for versus caring about. I aligned, for the purposes of the way I'm using the term caring for, it aligns with taking care of. And caring about is friendship, it's love, it's the genuine relationship, person to person. So that, if you want to look more into that, please look at the previous video called Caring. And in this video, we'll be addressing the issues of dependency and codependency. Dependency is someone who needs something to take care of them. The phrase, the term, came out of Alcoholics Anonymous addiction kind of counseling. The addict is dependent on the alcohol or the drugs. People are dependent on people. Little children are dependent on their parents. That's normal. At different stages of life, it's appropriate to be dependent on other people for things that they're needy of. A little baby, my grandson, I won't say his name because someday he might look at this, or a friend of his might, and he might not want to be remembered this way. But he's 9 months old now, or 10, and he's needy. He stayed over with us yesterday, and we needed to take care of him because he wants to stand. He wants to stand and walk. But if he stands and tries to walk, he'll fall over and he'll hit the table. So we have to take care of him by holding his hand, protecting his head from bashing into the table. It's appropriate to take care of him. It's a way of loving him. So we're caring for him and caring about him at the same time. We're taking care of him because he's a baby. But if I did that with my son-in-law, and I stood there and said, wait a minute, don't fall over, you're going to fall over, and I tried to keep him from bashing his head against things, he'd be very upset with me because he's very capable of taking care of himself. I don't need to take care of him. I can care for him and his businesses and the things he does, how he gets along, that he gets along well with my daughter, and care about how their family's doing. But I don't have to run the family, make sure it goes the way I think it ought to. So there are different stages in people's lives where it's appropriate to care for versus care about. People who are capable in their maturity, at the maturity level, at their age, at their physical level, who can care for themselves, don't need somebody else to care for them, to take care of them. And people who are taking care of themselves and able to tend to resent being taken care of by somebody doing something they don't need done for them. The person who is a codependent needs to have somebody to take care of. They are dependent on having someone dependent upon them. That's the person who is perhaps married to an addict, and they need the addict to be an addict so that they can take care of them. They feel good about themselves when the addict comes home stumbling and they can't get in the door, so they open the door, they pull them in, they throw them in the shower, get a cup of coffee down their throat, and they take care of the person who is dependent on them. Then the codependent feels valuable. They feel important. That codependent then feels good. I've done my job. I've done what I need to do to take care of this person, and now I am showing my importance and my significance. One of the big problems with addictions, for example, this still sticking with the addictions model, is the addict may be may go off to a recovery center, get a lot of help, and learn that they don't need to be dependent on the people around them, that they're able to take care of themselves and manage themselves. But when they go back into the old situation, into the home or the environment that they came out of to go into the program, they tend to fall back into their dependency again. They tend to get addicted again because the codependent is still there being codependent. Say, don't you want me to get you a cup of coffee? You want me to take care of you? Can I fix your dinner? Do you need me to take care of this or that? And the dependent is being kind of drawn back into that dependency, need for dependence. And that's the cycle that keeps that pattern going. Dependent who needs the codependent to take care of them, who needs somebody to care for. If somebody is genuinely needy, like when I was seriously burned, I needed my family. After I got out I needed the people in the hospital to take care of me. I couldn't do anything. They took care of me, and I'm glad. As I got better, they taught me how to take care of myself. A physical therapist taught me how to use a fork again, and how to be able to cut things with a knife and fork, and be able to get my hands to my fingers to close. I really truly needed somebody to help me learn again how to do what I used to be able to do all the time. But after I learned some of those things, I still needed to be taken care of at home because there were things I was unable to physically do. So my family, my wife and daughters, did things with injuries I had, wounds that continued to need to be taken care of. They would do those things, and there were times when it felt really nice to have somebody, hey, Catherine, could you come in and hand me the cup? Well, the cup was in my reach, but I got so used to being taken care of that I just expected it, and I thought I needed it. And then there was a time when I realized that I was, this sounds silly, that I was actually able to reach my foot, which I couldn't do before. But part of what they had to do was put these compression stockings on my legs so that the scars would be compressed and they wouldn't be as bad later. And then one day they were doing that, and I recognized, I can pull my leg, I can bend my knee and get that on myself. I was shocked. I said, I didn't know that I could do that. But it felt, on the one hand, it felt like, this is exciting, I can take care of myself. But on the other hand, it was felt like a little bit of a loss, because it was really nice to have people take care of me that way. It's nice until you don't need it. And if people are trying to take care of you when you don't need it, it's irritating. Stop telling me how to drive. Stop telling me how to turn the wheel to park. Stop telling me what tie to put on. Different things like that. It's irritating. Unless I need the help. I happen to need help picking my tie because I'm colorblind. So there are times where it's appropriate to take care of somebody in certain ways, and times when it's clearly not. If somebody, though, needs to have someone to take care of, then that is a self-esteem issue. That's a self-worth issue for the codependent. If my value comes from doing a good job taking care of you, then my value is found in the wrong place. My value needs to be found in the person that God made me to be, as the image of God, created in his image, designed by him to take dominion over the parts of the world that he has given me to rule. Not to take care of the parts of the world that he's given you to rule or somebody else, but just the parts of the world that I'm responsible for, which has to do with my taking care of my body, taking care of my brain, taking care of my spiritual life. If I don't know how to take care of my spiritual life, I need a discipler to come in and help me with something I don't know about. If I'm unable to cook my food because I have crippled hands, or when my hands were crippled from my fire, or people who have permanent things that they're born with, they need somebody to help take care of them, like Johnny Erickson Tata, that some of you will have known about. If you don't, Google her. She needs people to take care of her every day because she's paralyzed from the neck down. And that kind of thing, that's genuine stuff. And there are people who are very good at that, but if they find their value in taking care of somebody else or something else, then their value is found in the wrong place. And they get angry, they get upset, they get hurt and feel worthless if the person that they're taking care of doesn't need them to take care of them, or if they're not appreciative. They get very upset. And the reason for that upset is because their value is found in the wrong place. It needs to be found in God, who loves them, who created them in his image, and who came to earth as a man in Jesus Christ, paid the price for their sin by the ultimate sacrifice on the cross, taking the consequence of their sin in hell upon himself, and providing for us his perfect righteousness. If our value is found in our Creator, who loves us with his whole heart, then we don't need other people to take care of us, to care for us. We love it that they care about us, that they care for our well-being. They want us to do well. They understand who we are. They want to know more about who we are and how they can encourage us and support us in godliness. But not to be needy of them so that they can feel needed. That's the problem and the cycle of codependency and dependency. The codependent needs someone to take care of, to care for. And the one who is dependent, wants to be dependent, finds their value in being cared for, being taken care of. That person needs the codependent to take care of them, and then they get in this cycle that goes on and on and on in all kinds of addictions, whether it's alcohol or drugs or gambling or sexual addiction, all kinds of addictions, relationship addictions, where people just need others either to care for them or to take care of them. That's the destructive cycle. The answer is found in Christ, who loves us, and because he first loved us and gave us a heart to love him, we then can go and pass that love on to others. And if it's rejected, they're rejecting Christ. And we care about that person, because to reject Christ is a horrible condition. It means an eternal misery. But if the person is cared about by us and they want to be cared about, then there isn't a need to fix them. And they don't feel the need to be fixed. So these are the summary around the circle of codependency and dependency, and moving back to the previous discussion of caring for and caring about. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been helpful. Let me pray for you. Father in heaven, All of us struggle with who we are. We struggle with our own sense of well-being, our sense of worth, our sense of value. And because none of us trusts you 100%, we have doubts at times. Sometimes we have long seasons of doubt. Some of us have never really known you, and we never have a time when we're really confident and secure in how we fit into this universe that you have created. I ask that for each person listening, your Spirit will guide them, prompt them in conviction for their need for you, prompt them in their dependence upon you, who are the ultimate caregiver, who took care of every one of our needs, and you provide in every way for us. Make us not desperate, needy people of others, but may we know our desperate need for you and your ultimate, total taking care of us, taking care for us on our behalf, fixing us, making us new, so that we can reflect your love to all those around. For your glory, in Jesus' name.